Healthy baby girl, 7 pounds, 6 ounces, 20 inches long.
You've waited 9 months and sometimes years to meet your little one. They are the joy of your life, a new chapter for your family. But something doesn't feel right.
I should have been elated, and I wasn't.
Reality pretty much set in the day that we were discharged and came home.
Joy and happiness suddenly turning to sadness and loneliness and even shocking thoughts you can't overcome.
Those dark thoughts were everything all day long.
And in extreme cases, flags are often missed. That's when a mom's actions can turn tragic.
My intention was to be a good mom and not to be here for this.
Channel 2 News presents Postpartum Depression, More Than the Baby Blues. It's a topic that's lived in the dark far too long, and it's time to bring it to light. Hello, I'm Ariane Aramburo. Last September, I became a new mom to my beautiful daughter, Amelia. She recently turned 9 months old, and motherhood is amazing, but like many new moms, there was a period where I struggled. I'm part of the nearly 30% of moms in Alaska who suffered from symptoms of postpartum depression. It's a taboo topic to a lot of people. Oftentimes, women feel embarrassed, ashamed, and even afraid to share the dark thoughts that sometimes follow after having a baby. For the next hour, you'll hear from moms who struggled with postpartum depression, one so much so she took her child's life, and others who figured out how to get to the joy of having a newborn. Here's my story.
12:17 a.m. She was born. Healthy baby girl, 7 pounds, 6 ounces, 20 inches long. Eating the hands is the new craze now, yeah. Reality pretty much set in the day that.
Welcome back. Postpartum depression symptoms can appear anytime during pregnancy and well after childbirth. Nationally, 1 out of every 7 women will experience some type of perinatal mood disorder, such as depression, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, panic, and even post-traumatic stress. Here in Alaska, that number is 1 in 3. In this next story, you'll meet 3 local moms, each with a different story on how they overcame the same disorder. Smiles and laughter fill the room as moms Carrie Marsh, Miranda Bauer, and Leanna Chronister tend to their little ones. But there was a time when even the thought of a smile. Each of these women felt they were at rock bottom.
I was just totally broken at a point.
Things that were already bad just continued to get even worse.
I didn't want to share with anybody that I was going through these things.
But out of the darkness, eventually came a light. For Carrie, running became her saving grace.
Didn't cure me?
Well, postpartum depression doesn't just affect moms. In fact, 1 in 10 new fathers will suffer from it as well. Joining me to talk about their personal experiences are my husband, Jules, and Carrie's husband, Brad. Thank you both for being here. Let's just get right to it. What advice do you guys have for the dads out there going through this or their partner going through this?
I would say that you need to know that there's a certain percentage of chance that your wife is going to go through postpartum depression. And if she does, to be equipped emotionally, mentally, and spiritually if necessary.
Postpartum depression is often the most talked about, but in rare cases, some women suffer from postpartum psychosis. It occurs in approximately 1 to 2 out of every 1,000 deliveries. The onset is usually sudden and most often within the first 2 weeks of postpartum. Denise Littervin suffered from postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. She says sharing her story isn't easy, but she hopes it will help other moms who are being consumed with dark thoughts to seek help. Now, some things may be hard to hear, but at the end of the day, this is her truth.
My entire pregnancy was a train wreck from the beginning to the end.
Denise Littervin's story isn't easy to hear.
We found out we were pregnant the day before my husband went to boot camp. We had 12 cents in the bank account.
Fighting sickness most of her pregnancy, she ended up having an emergency C-section.
I felt a profound loss of self. I felt like
Welcome back. 1 in 7 women in the United States will suffer from some sort of perinatal mood disorder. Here in Alaska, that number goes to 1 in 3. That means a third of all women who give birth will likely struggle. Now, we've heard the personal stories. Now it's time to talk about how to get the help.
Well, a lot of moms don't think about the things that could go wrong.
Megan Yarmick is a licensed professional counselor who specializes in maternal mental health.
I realized that there weren't too many services in Alaska, and moms were really being left behind.
The discussion of how to help moms in Alaska doesn't stop here. In fact, nationally, lawmakers are pushing legislation to allow states to apply for grants that would improve screening and treatment for women with postpartum depression, legislation that immediately caught the attention of Senator Lisa Murkowski.
What it helps us do is have a little bit of confidence here at the state level.
It's heartbreaking to hear about the death of an infant, but when that death comes at the hands of a family member, a mother in particular, it becomes soul-crushing. That's how an Anchorage judge described the case of Sarah Johnson, who ended the life of her child just 3 weeks after giving birth. Channel 2's Mallory Peebles has been following Johnson's case since we first learned of her arrest.
It's been nearly 5 years since Sarah Johnson took the life of her baby girl, Pepper. The case was never a debate of whether or not she killed her infant. Instead, silence.
Those hearing my story who have never been severely depressed, dissociated, or suicidal will want better answers. Logical, rational answers for their logical, rational minds. But that isn't how mental illness works. There isn't an acceptable answer. It is simply tragic and horrific, and it goes against every intrinsic grain of maternal instinct.
Instead of watching baby Pepper begin her education, Sarah Johnson begins a prison sentence of 20 years behind bars. While the prison sentence is 20 years, Johnson will likely serve about half of that due to her already serving time behind bars during a portion of the trial and the ability to apply for parole.
Now, there's absolutely no doubt the details of Sarah's crime are extremely hard to hear, and particularly for me as a new mother. But then I thought, could that have been me? Or could that have been Denise or Carrie or Miranda or any of the thousands of other women who suffer often silently from postpartum depression? I felt compelled to meet Sarah to hear directly from her. How could this happen? How does she feel now? And what could have prevented this tragedy, if anything?
So my room is down this hall.
This is Sarah Johnson's new home.
There's 14 rooms, and I live in this one on the bottom bunk.
She lives in the transformational living community.
Have you forgiven yourself?
No, I haven't forgiven myself. I wear it, I wear the guilt, I wear the shame. There was a time I really thought I would be a really good mom, and I think now, even now, I think I would, and I can't forgive myself because, you know, I have these pictures, and she didn't deserve this, and she deserved a full life, and she would have been 5. She'd be 5 this July. And how can I walk around happy and self-forgiving when, like, how dare I be happy?
But through it all, Sarah found the courage to carry on and chose to share her story in hopes that it will encourage other moms experiencing signs of postpartum depression not to feel ashamed, embarrassed, or defeated, but to reach out and demand help.
I can't ever do enough in my life to undo this, to make it okay, to make it right, to make that sacrifice okay. But I work on it.
Now, I want to personally thank Sarah for her courage to share her story. She was hesitant to do the interview, worried what people would think, the names they would call her, the labels she'll live with forever. But as horrible as her crime is, she did decide to speak up. And this is a topic that's bigger than a 1-hour special. For me, it's personal. Becoming a mom is the best thing that's ever happened to me, but it was also a lot harder than I expected, and that is okay. If you know a mom who's struggling silently, or a dad who doesn't know what to do or how to be there for his wife, the first step is to step in. Let them know help is available. We have a full list of statewide resources on our website at ktuu.com. Share the link, share these stories, because you never know whose life you could be saving. I'm Ariane Aramburo. Thank you for watching.